I learned
Skies
that
are
on my own.
gray.
It's not a
You'll
narrative you
never
want,
know,
to
dear,
equate to your
how
children.
much I
No.
love you.
Children
Please don't
whose parents
take my
have
sunshine.
had to share some very, if you like, difficult issues with their own upbringing, their own growing up, their own maturity, oftentimes, you know, are they're much able to handle such situations better, if you like, successfully. Success meaning if it was something that needed to be avoided or prevented, they are much um, successful at doing that. If it's something that they needed to attain, okay, that you have shared with them how you managed it, how you went about it, they're most likely going to be able to achieve the same things. You know what they say, the other thing, all things being equal. Yeah, but all things are never equal. But the one thing that needs to start being equal is you're making conscious efforts, being intentional about letting them know who you are, not from third-party reports. Let them know who you are from how you do things, why you do things, extending that now into why it is you suggest. Remember, I didn't say why it is you want them. They suggest there's still the want inside it. But remember we talk about agreeing on boundaries, rewards, and consequences of keeping or not keeping to boundaries. Human beings generally, not just children, especially children in this case now, perform better when they own, when they are part of a decision making. They own, you know, the process. That also then means that they're able to replicate, the tasks that will lead to the desired results. They're also able to perpetuate such processes, meaning carry such into the next generation, into their own children. And most importantly, first of all, before they even go into their own family, into their own relationships with other people, schoolmates, neighborhood friends, colleagues at the workplace, and ultimately their partners in their own families, and then their children. But if we indulge in, or if we get lost in, well, I learned this my own way, I learned it the hard way. You should learn how to do what? From who? Okay? Remember, we are going from they can identify you, well done. You are present enough for your child to be able to, you know, identify who you are in the midst of other parents, whether your father, your mother. Okay, it's a heartwarming thing. My child can identify me even when blindfolded. But beyond the blindfold, even beyond genetics, there's also some other research. Well, you have the biological um, mothers of some children, the same process blindfolded, but mixed with people who brought them up, not their biological mothers, other women who brought those children up. Okay, you're guessing where this is going. Okay, yeah. those children identified those women who brought them up, not their biological mothers. So these experiments have a reason for which they were carried out. That you get back to a child don't mean that that child automatically, or they say blood is thicker than water. Well, okay, maybe it gets diluted by absence. Maybe that blood, that thickness gets diluted by your not being present in the life or lives of those children. So your presence, it's important. It's important. We have a contribution here from a community member. Let's see what it is. He said, I always had issues opening up since I was young. How do I get past my demons and open up to my kids? More so they can know me better. You are not alone. You are not alone. But I tell you that those butterflies, those demons in your stomach that are suppressing you from telling your story, because that's what I would call it, to your children, sharing your own personal life experiences with your children. There are some set of demons you must work hard to overcome. How do you do that? Oh, how do I work hard to get started? I will share a story. I'll give you, let me give you an instance. A practical, well, on this program, we're not inhibited, and we encourage parents not to be inhibited when the issue is the upbringing of their children. You should be the first, the go-to person for your children for clarification of any life issues. There's a case of a mother who had a terrible experience as a teenager when she was growing up, a terrible, experience of sexual violation, sexual harassment. Was actually a rape issue. So she lived with that pain, that hurt over time. And she got married, started her own family, had daughters. Incidentally, she had only daughters. She had 3 daughters. And as they were growing, she would not want them to go out, be late. Look, don't go there. She was saying, don't go there. But these are our friends. They're your friends. You don't understand. They can't understand. And in that confusion, in that pain, just like this person whom I'm not saying this person's issue has to do with rape, has to do with any sexual violence, any sexual assault, anything. No. I'm just saying that thing that's making you inhibiting you from sharing with your children was the same thing making this woman to say, I've told you, don't go there. I keep telling you, don't come back late. Don't stay out late with your friends. You're making points, yes. But the children don't understand what you're saying because, again, those people are their friends. They don't have your experience. If you do not share your experience, it's not everybody that will have such experiences, but you do have. And that is your concern for them. You are afraid on their behalf. They don't see your fear. They don't understand what you're talking about. And then after a session, a counseling session, coaching session, she was able to share her experience with her daughters. And from that day on, the daughters were more sympathetic and more cooperative. If you like, were more concerned now with an understanding about why their mother don't want them to be in certain environments at certain times, because she was afraid that the same thing that happened to her might happen to them. If she didn't share it, they don't get it. They won't get it. Maybe they too would have their own hurts, which they also keep, which they also not be able to share with their children. And then it continues. You know what they say? And research has a backing in research. When a teenager has a baby, you know, there's a higher, possibility for that child that was born by that teenager to also have a child in his or her teenage years, especially if it's a female child. There are research findings for that. But then, if the issue of bonding that we're talking about here, the issue of knowing is shared, not fear, not spreading fear. Oh, I've been warning you. What are you warning the child about? I saw a video not long ago. A young girl, 15, said, "Oh, mom, hi, I'm going to hang out with my friends." And the mom says, "Use protection." And the child said, "Come on, mom, I'm 15." And the mother responds, "I am 30. What does that mean? He meant you are 15, I am 30. That means I had you when I was 15. You need to share your experiences. You need to talk with them. They need to understand that moment, of embarrassment, if we must call it that, as you're opening yourself up with your children, would save them a lifetime of agony, and then build a much, much more understanding relationship between you and them. They will respect you the more. They will understand you the more. They will cooperate with you the more when it comes to having to conform. Well, conform might not actually be it. When they have to, not obey, okay? When they have to, for their own sakes, stay within certain limits in certain life issues. We have another contribution here. Okay, and it says, how can I encourage my child to ask me more open-ended questions about myself, my childhood, and my experiences? You start it. You start it. But then again, you cannot start something from nothing. I saw a video again online today. This one is today. Of a father. This was a father and a baby. That child couldn't probably be more than 5 months, maybe 6 months. And the father held the baby and said, "I love you." The child was looking, focused, concentratedly on the father's face, as if reading his lips. And the father kept repeated it, "I love you." And the most unlikely or unthinkable thing happened. And the child goes, "You." And the father just held him. If you don't say it, you can get it back. Start early. Imagine the kind of relationship that would develop between that child and that father as that child grows older. They have put something in their communication relationship. The father initiated it. You initiated. Ask the questions however you feel comfortable about them. Do you know where I come from? Mom, why do you ask us that? We live here. No, we live here. Yes, this is not where we come from. Do you know? Yeah, that's. Do you know where I come from? You're asking an open-ended question uh, for which they will give you responses that could now lead into some other forms of conversation about you now telling them the story of where you come from. It could also be, do you know what I do at my workplace? Mama, we see you, you wear the police uniform, you go, yeah, yeah, they know you are a police officer, but they didn't know what police officers do. And then do all police officers do the same things? Your own issue is, do you know what I do at work? Okay. Now, Mom, you're a police officer. Why are you asking us that question? No, okay, I'm a police officer. Yes. The conversation starts. And then don't be surprised that going forward, they will come forward to now ask you their own questions, unprompted. But you had paved the way. You have created a platform for that to happen. So you have to initiate whatever you want your children to know. You start with asking the open-ended question about yourself. And that way, you eventually also get them to talk about themselves, talk about, specific things, not how's your day at school. How's your day at school is too general, depending on the age of the children, the ages of the children. Okay, we have another contribution here. I've been realizing that my kids only see me as the rule enforcer because of how strict I was when they were growing up. They are all over 25 and have moved out. Is it too late to change how they see me? It's never too late, but the strategies have to be different now. Okay, it's never too late. You need to, if you've described this quite beautifully. I mean, yeah, you succeeded in your role of enforcer, the lawgiver, maybe the authoritarian person. Although this person they did not indicate whether it's a mother or a father. It doesn't really matter. In our own family, my mother was, if you've been following this program, if you've been following this podcast, you know that my mother was, the thatcher of our family in terms of relating with us, in terms of enforcing discipline. Okay, so they are all 25, they are grown up, they are adults now. Even some children actually continue to look at the calendar, waiting for that date, that magical date, 1 and 8, 18. I'm 18 now. I'm no longer a baby. So the wahala starts. But you've managed. They have moved out, either school, married, or, you know, work in different locations from where you live. Your relationship with them now need to be negotiated. Everything you now have to do with them need to be negotiated. Even that negotiation needed to have started up in shown when you are setting, agreeing on boundaries and all of that. Using, of course, your culture, your tradition, your family values as backdrops, uh, or as tools or resource for uh, coming to agreement on specific issues about who is doing what, how, when, where. Okay? So it's not too late, but the strategy needs to be different. You used to say, I want this done by the time I come back. Now, I would love it for it to happen that, it's not something, it's not a particular way of talking or expression that you are used to. You got to learn it. Okay? I have a friend who says, I'm opinionated, and my children are also opinionated. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you for real? Opinionated is supposed to be a badge of honor now? No. they are going to use the same thing for you. Okay. Mom, but you told us you are opinionated. So what is wrong with my being opinionated? Okay, okay. Yeah, it will happen. That's the knowing. You've shown them. That's you that you have shown them. The person that sent this question, you've shown them you are the enforcer. You are so it's what you say, how you say it, when you want it done that they get it. They've grown up to live that way. You need to start renegotiating collaborative decision making, not just for the sake of your relationship with them, but for the sake of their relationship with other people, especially their own children when they begin to have children. It's very important. It's very important. Start, you know, around commonplace things, regular things that you do if you do things together, they visit you or you visit them or you have some family event. Try not to, you know, Julia, okay, you are going to take care of the chicken, the dad. Why don't we try something like, well, these are the things we have to do before our other family members begin to arrive. Who wants to do what? They'll probably look at themselves and say, what's going on? Who is this person? Is this person our mother? Are we sure that this person is our mother? But you on a journey. They will notice too. Well, it's okay, mom. Okay, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that. Fine. The important thing is for the things to get done. Yeah. And it will surprise you that because they are the ones who would have chosen to do specific things, they would have those things done much better than when you insist, you go take care of that. Because as individuals, we have preferences for things we love to do, things we don't love to do, even things we have to do. Personally, I never liked the feel of oil on my fingers. I've said it on this program. And that's the reason why I use cutleries to eat. All my friends thought it was because of no. And that's from childhood. It used to cause a lot of friction between my grandmother and I. She always wondered, how can you, how is it, how could you possibly enjoy the meal you're eating without, your fingers touching the soup and you lick your fingers as like, grandma, I understand. I can't touch oil. I don't want to touch oil. So that is the beauty of eating the food. You feel it. It never works. Okay. Your children need at those ages, you should notice, it should give them rein to be able to express themselves, better. Be ready to take punches, below the belt sometimes, and clarify again. For instance, I used to say to my children as they were growing up, never be afraid of anybody. Say what you need to say, when you need to say them, how you need to say them. Your friends, your teachers, you go to the hospital, the nurses, ask, this injection you want to give me, what is it? What's in it? Insist. But I put a caveat. Be respectful. Even with your friends, even with your schoolmates, your colleagues in the office, your neighborhood friends, be respectful. Respect other people's opinions. Accept superior opinions, but go back and work at, okay, yeah, today I didn't get it right. Go back and work at getting it right. Okay. Don't be afraid of anybody, right? Okay. My first daughter got married one day. I can't remember exactly what she was. She called me on the phone. And she was, Dad, yeah, this, that. I was listening. I'm like, when she was through, at least with her the first set of her salvos, I'm like, Didi, did you call the wrong number? She said, no, that is you are called. I know I'm talking to you. Know you are talking. I'm like, and do you could you just think about what you said? He said, Dad, yes, you are the one who told us to tell people what we should tell them. I said, fine, true. But I also told you something else. Say what you have to say respectfully. And she said, oh, okay, sorry, Dad, sorry, I'm sorry. She apologized. Yeah, she did. Okay. So this is a married woman. She's my daughter, yes, a married woman in her husband's house called me. I could play that day and say, what rubbish, what nonsense. Or she too could say, okay, I can, why do I have, but no, we had set those boundaries long time ago. She understood them. She lived by them. Maybe well, spur of the moment, okay, now I'm in my own home, so I can talk. No, you can't talk anyhow. You can talk anyhow, but respectfully. And she apologized. Well, all was well, and we resolved the issues. We took care, you know, discussed what the issues were, and then we came to conclusion. Okay, you need to negotiate. You need to now, you know, involve involve your children earlier. But if you didn't start that early this morning, I had a session with a mother of two women who had the same issue, but the two women are living with her. They're all living in one place. But she felt so hurt by how one of her daughters confronted her. And I asked the question, did you have an agreement with them? This client, it's not been long, we started working with her. She said, no. I said, well, that's the issue. But also, please don't beat yourself up. I'm not saying you've already said that they respect you, that there are things, no, there are things they know that they are not to do that. Fine. But you assumed they saw you, but you didn't negotiate, didn't discuss and agree on boundaries, consequences, and rewards. You didn't do that. She said, yes, I didn't do that. But I said, no, it's not late. You are feeling hurt. It's human. You're a human being. Oh, I did so much for them. They've also done so much for you. Both of them are also above 20. I think one is 24, one is 30. How old do you think what would this is a practical session for what this question is all about now. Okay? And she went back to have another yeah. But before we take this, we have two here now. Before we take this two, I want you to see the video of that blindfold session. Okay, when we come back, okay, we continue with the contribution for the committee members. Thank you. Don't go away.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love.
Welcome back. This is still the Slow Parenting podcast on Nostalgia Media. Welcome back, parents, grandparents, and parents to be. My name is still Richie, and they will say I'm your regular host. Okay, you've seen the video. You saw the blindfold thing, you saw the children identifying their parents. Such heartwarming. But then now, all of that is the elementary part of the knowing. Okay, now from the questions that have been asked, from the contributions that have been made by community members, you can see that there are deeper issues when the topic is knowing. I have another question here. Does telling my child everything about me make it harder to set boundaries? In other words, to know. When that is appropriate for that child, depending on what the issue is, depending on what is being discussed or what is to be discussed. Okay? Remember, you choose the topic, you choose the issues when it comes to, okay, giving your children the opportunity to know you, except when certain things happen that will then lead to, come on, guys, look, I need to tell you something about this particular incident. Then you go, something happened. It's still you narrating, okay? It's still you that need to share from your perspective. Don't lie, don't cover anything up. When they find out you made anything up, they will not like you. And most importantly, most dangerous, they will not trust you. They are not likely going to trust you or anything you tell them anymore. And that is not something you want to happen with your children. Okay? So there's no such thing as no, that's one of the rape there in the data bank of rape issues and rape studies and all of that. It's people you know, in most cases, environment you are used to. You are not expecting anything to happen. That is why it's called rape. So don't go get lost. I shared on this program before. The same, my first daughter again. Oh, in her secondary school, high school. My street was a close, really. It was a, I'm like, I was driving, so I wasn't. I he's still walking in front. I didn't have to get to the gate so they can open the gate. But instead of going to my company, sure that was where he's going to reach, he walked past. Like I said, my street was a cul-de-sac. There was only one building, one compound. Well, one compound with multiple buildings in it on the last gate on that close. He walked on to that. Then I tapped on the horn of the car. My daughter came out, opened the gate, and I drove in. And when I got down, I'm like, your friend? I said, which my friend? I described, so I saw him coming and I was not sure he was coming here. But then he then walked. But then I said something to her. I said, look, anybody that doesn't have the confidence to face me, to come to visit you here, you should be wary. Why would they be comfortable? They've all been in the house when we're around before. So why this particular day? Why would it be uncomfortable he would even have been the one to say, oh, open the gate, your dad is here. No, he didn't. He moved on. Then I said it's something that, we're talking about setting boundaries and all of that, agreeing on boundaries. And I said something, please, don't try not to invite your friends over to the house when we are not around. And the same thing, don't go to your friends' home, don't go to visit your friends when their parents are not around. And it became something everybody bought into. We agreed on it. Okay. The next question here goes this way. It says, my son is very attached to my wife and barely connects with me. How can I balance this up? The first thing I need to say to this community member is, please don't go engaging yourself in any form of competition. There's no need. You should be happy the child connects with one of you. So, it's simple. Play good cop, bad cop. Things you want the child to do, pass them on to your wife. That means you must, we've said it severally, we'll continue to say, parenting is a team event. It's not a solo 100-meter dash. It's a relay race. It's a team event. Okay? So this child connects with the mother. Don't go contesting it. You would destroy it. It would create a problem. It would create an issue or issues between yourself and your spouse in the first place. And then, of course, the child would come confused. Let the child be comfortable with who he or she is comfortable dealing with. And these things change, actually. They change over time. Maybe not all the time, but they do change. But what's important is you have a partner that you can leverage, space, time, platform, whatever, to now say, okay, I can see this young woman, listen, please tell her this. And when that comes to you, the man, the husband, the father, when the child is concerned, okay, well, your mom won't like that. Don't play the male thing, is the male that should say, yes, you are both team members. Remember, you should know your strengths and your weaknesses and use them for good. Use your strengths and weaknesses to effect. Don't compete over your children, over the affection or attention of or attachment of don't. Okay? Don't. Because if you do, I'll repeat what I said earlier, you'll be brewing a situation that will not be, palatable for both of you as partners, as spouses. And then ultimately we create confusion in the child or the children. When you start competing for the attention of your children, they will use you as they will play you against yourselves. But instead, remain as team members. Play good cop, bad cop. What does that mean? You want something done. What that has to happen, that something needs to be done, right? Now, go to the bad cop. And that child will most likely come and say, that, can you imagine what mommy said? Mommy said you should do that. I think you should go and do it too. Okay? Yeah. Don't go. It's only what you tell them to do in this house that they get to do. Don't do that. Leverage on that. The important thing is for you to help your children to grow, give them information, okay, and practical experiences that they will use to make informed decisions to help them in situations that they might have been confused with, or others might have been suggesting things that will not benefit them around. Okay, we have another one here, which will be the last comment that we'll take here. What if I try to open up and my child just doesn't seem interested? Should I keep trying or give them space? Remember, as your children grow up, the knowing, it has to be both ways. It's not just your children knowing. You need to know your children. You need to know what they like, what they don't like. And those things that they don't like that you know would help them, you need to find creative ways of explaining those things to them. Okay? I'll give you an example, a story, personal here. None of my children were interested in anything I did as business. None of them. Even in development work, where other children were jostling to get spaces to be involved in one community project or not, they are not interested. And they often disturb me. I'm like, come on, they were not interested. But their friends their friends would attend, would participate, would get certificates, would get on to, I don't force them. Go keep doing what you're doing. Let them see what you're doing. Then when it came to the issue of choosing programs for college, we don't say to our children, oh, you must go to do this. It's also a case of, what do you want to do? Why are you interested in? You see what you're interested in. Okay, these are the subjects you need to pay attention to. Like that, like that, like that. People who are used to this program also remember my issue. My first daughter, first she wanted to be a nurse. And I'm like, come on. Why do you want to be a nurse? And nurses help people. No, the first thing she wanted to be was, she wanted to be a journalist. I'm like, why do you want to be a journalist? Say, Daddy, because you write, you're a journalist. Like, don't do things because it's their things I do. Why do you want to? Okay, but Daddy, I like it. I like what you do, so I want to do it. Okay. That was third year in high school. By her first year their fourth year in high school, we had that conversation again, because it was now the segment of the high school education in Nigeria that will now lead to college. And I said, okay, OG, sorry, Didi, what do you, no, I want to be a nurse. Nurse? How did you go from being a journalist to a nurse? Okay, why do you want to be a nurse? I like nurses. They help people, they wear white uniform. I'm like, doctors too help people, and doctors also wear white robe. You get where I'm going? Why do you want to be a nurse? I'm not a doctor. Okay. Ultimately, this person eventually read economics. So You keep having those conversations, keep letting them, okay, evolve to get to become better versions of themselves eventually. Not you railroading. We have so many unfortunate outcomes from parents insisting that their children go to do certain programs in college for which they are not interested. So many. Okay. But let's move on because, again, we just have a few minutes the program. But I said the last one the other time, but then another one just came in that let's just take it and then we'll round up with it. My child used to be very close to me when she was younger, but now she's 13 and she has pulled away. Is that normal or did I do something wrong? My friends keep telling me it's just the age. But that's not how I was with my mom. You are a different person with your mom. We are all different human beings. See that magical age, that thing, is a magical age. That's the first teenage. You see, around those time periods, your friends that are telling you that it's just the age, they are not wrong. That's a lot hormonal things happening in their bodies that they don't understand. But then for which you also could have been preparing them. But there's no kind of preparation that you give to a person about that picking up hot objects can be painful, that will mask them from that pain when they go eventually to go and pick that hot object. Okay? Now, you say this is what you're going to have. You're going to feel pain, you're going to burn your hands. You can't know what that burn means until that has happened. If that child goes on head on to go pick that head, the hot object. Okay, so it's hormonal. It's about changes that are happening that they can't explain, but you should keep explaining. Create those is withdrawing. It's still your child. There's a proverb where my mother comes from in Nigeria. It says, no matter how much an okra tree grows, the owner can still pluck it. You see your child. Or okra plant is not a tree. Okay. So it's still your child. Still make room, initiate, help. She needs help more than anything else. She needs help to navigate that period, those teenage years. That you didn't have that with your mom, that didn't happen between your mom, could be explained by a whole lot of other, circumstances and situations. The times are different. Your mother's upbringing with you most likely was different. You probably feel how you feel with your daughter because you did not have the same kind of bonding that you have with your daughter with your mother before you got to that age. Maybe if you did, maybe you were able to manage your own hormonal changes better than your daughter. There's no one size fits all in teenagers, early teens. A few days ago, I was on the phone with my first granddaughter, and it's her birthday tomorrow. And she said, Grandpa, it's my birthday on Thursday. I'm like, yes, I know. How old are you going to be? He said, well, I said, it's a very special age. He said, Grandpa, why? I said, well, you don't know? He said, no. Well, I know. Eventually, I said to her, because that's the last time, that's the last birthday you will celebrate before you called a teenager. So she will be 12 tomorrow. And that's also a red flag for her mother, her parents to also, initiate, if they have not been doing so already, a series of developmental discussions with her. There are things that are happening. You can understand. They can understand at that age. They don't. They can, if they didn't prepare them, I've also said there's also some things you cannot prepare people enough until they experience it, and then you are explaining, oh, okay, this is, for instance, menstruation. You can't prepare enough. The person experiences it. You can only say, oh, okay, this is what we discussed. Okay, this is what's happening now. You know, we've discussed it. Okay, this is now what you need to do. This is now what you need to do. Okay. So I said that will be our last, because again, uh, we ran down the clock. If this has been, interesting, if you've this been knowledgeable, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to join us again next episode. It's every Wednesday, um, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, Zoom was telling me today, oh, you are behind. No, the time has changed. It's not 1 p.m. anymore. Okay, the daytime savings has changed. It's now 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and then it remains 7 p.m. West African time, including Nigeria. Please subscribe. YouTube says we are top creators on slow parenting on YouTube, but our subscription and viewership are horrible. Okay, support this program, encourage us to do more. We would appreciate that. And then if you also have questions that were not taken today, leave them on the comment section on YouTube. We always, or on any of our social media handles, we always respond to your chats, your questions, and then you could always check them up at our social media handles or even the YouTube channel, the videos, um, outside of the live stream. So thank you so very much for being here. My name is Richie Adewusi. Till we have another episode of the Slow Parenting Podcast. Stay well. Keep talking. Thank you.